As soon as businesses opened up, I made all of the touching appointments. I was like, I'm getting a massage, I'm getting a manicure. Look, I made a dentist appointment just because I missed feeling somebody in my mouth. Okay? Don't you judge me. It was hard. My dentist is this like 65-year-old Armenian man. I was like, floss it up, daddy. Use your toys. He was like, I prefer you call them tools. I was like, Dimitri, I need this. Hush your lips. Just tell me when to spit. One of the appointments I had made was for a bikini wax. And I had been going to salons before COVID to get bikini waxes. I had tried doing some of those like at-home kits, and I just learned that there are some parts of my nethers that I do not have the strength of spirit to wax myself. Listen to me, if you can wax your own lips, you're a psychopath. That is some Steve-O jackass level masochism. I want no part of it. So I'd been going to the salons, and then the salons closed for 6 months, and things got scary. There's so many beautiful women here tonight. I feel like a lot of women started 2020 with like a landing strip, and by July it was just a full airport. You can land anywhere. There's a Cinnabon and a Panda Express. There's a shuttle that takes you to a rental car lot. I mean, employees, W-9s, it's a lot going on. So finally, the salons opened back up, and I immediately made an appointment. And I remembered there's that rule that the hair has to be at least a 1/4 inch long in order for the wax to be able to pick it up. Oh my God. And do we need a medic? Are you okay? Are you too much for you? She's like, it's a 7:30 show. I didn't know what this was. I don't like hockey, and we had a Groupon, but she's like, this is not the Christian way. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, so I remembered there's that rule that the hair has to be at least a 1/4 inch long in order for the wax to be able to pick it up. And I looked down and was like, well, that's not gonna be a problem. But for the first time in my life, I worried that maybe it's bad if the hair is longer than a 1/4 inch. So I called the salon. So embarrassing. I was like, hey, I have an appointment today. It's been a rough quarantine. Is there like a maximum hair requirement? And this poor girl just goes, I mean, how long are we talking? And I wasn't prepared to answer that. So I panicked and was like, we could probably donate it. No. Like, I don't know if Locks of Love specifies which type of hair they accept, but maybe somebody needs fake eyelashes. I don't know. We don't know where that hair comes from. I'll just throwing them on and praying, but could be pubes. I don't know. Basically, I feel like a lot of us were walking around kind of looking like the opposite of a porn star in 2020, right? Which is totally fine. My friend Jay actually told me that my celebrity lookalike is this porn star named Jessie Rogers. So I Googled her, and the first picture that popped up was her doing hardcore anal. And got a little creeped out, realizing that my friend Jay saw that and thought, You know who this reminds me of? Old gaping butthole Kelsey. Yeah. Old backdoor cook. Look at her go. A+. What is the matter with you, Jay? But by the way, it's so nice to be able to tell that joke in person again because I've had to tell it on mostly virtual shows the past 2 years, and I realized that halfway through the joke, everybody would just open a new browser. It would just get really quiet, and I'd be like, hello? Everybody show me your hands. I don't trust you. What are you doing? I had to check into a hotel on the road recently, and it was early in the morning, and the woman checking me in, well, she's a little older, and she goes, I just have to tell you, you look so much like Amy Adams. Huh, I don't know if you ever hear that, but you really look like her. And it took all of my strength to not pull my phone out and be like, you know who everybody else says I look like? And just really blast her with a bee-hole at 8 a.m. I couldn't do it. I do think that Jesse Rogers and I, we do look alike. We have some different hobbies. You know, I've never just sat on a lava lamp. For example. Like, my ex-husband and I, we didn't even buy a sex toy until 7 years into the relationship. We had just been Flintstoning that shit. Just very little house on the prairie, just churning butter, very innocent. We ended up buying one of those vibrating wand things, and I gotta be honest, never liked it. Way too intense for me. Even on the lowest setting, this thing is like for blasting rocks. I was like, is this what you women have been using this whole time? I barely touched it to my body. My feet lifted off the ground. I took flight. I was not turned on at all. I was terrified. I was like, did I just puree my clit? Oh my God. No. This thing is meant for industrial kitchens, okay? It's for liquefying raw vegetables. It's crazy. So I ended up asking some of my friends about it, and it turns out that they have this toy, and they use it on the highest setting in order to have an orgasm. I was like, how have you not completely erased your vagina? Just sanded it down to a smooth slab of granite. Like a Barbie crotch. Yeah. And go bowling on it. I think the craziest part about getting divorced is having to change your emergency contact back to your mom. It would be less embarrassing to use a stranger from Craigslist, truly. But other than that, it went pretty smoothly. Like, we still have a lot of love and respect for each other. He's also a comedian, so we didn't have a lot of assets to split up. It's not like there was a summer house and a boat. It was like, do you want the Batman Begins DVD? Who gets the good spatula? And after some time had passed, we decided that we were going to try and be friends again. And that's always a little weird the first time you try hanging out with an ex as a friend. When he saw me, he fist bumped me. I was like, wow, honestly, I would rather have you fist me. That would feel less physically uncomfortable than this nightmare you just put us through. Hated that. Absolutely not. And I've had the deadly peanut allergy for most of my life, so for the 8 years we were together, he had to stop eating peanut products, because if he did and then kissed me, my throat could close. So when I saw him, I was like, oh, what's it like to eat peanut butter again? He goes, oh man, we should have broken up a long time ago. I don't even blame him. Have you had peanut butter? I can't compete with that. I hate that the person I'm with has to give that up. That puts way too much pressure on me to be worth the trade-off, right? Like, you're gonna rob a man of Reese's for the rest of his life? Pff, you better be pretty open-minded in the bedroom. Gonna make a man stop swallowing something delicious. Well, get ready to start swallowing something gross. You gotta fill the void that Snickers left. A missionary with the lights off ain't gonna cut it anymore. So, had to learn some new moves and watch some tutorials. That's what I call porn. It's just educational for me now. I just watch with a little notepad like, oh, pretend to gag. Okay. Seems good. I do think it's easy when you get married to stop trying as hard in bed, but God, if you get divorced and you start trying to date again, it's like having to come back out of retirement. You know? It's like you gotta start stretching, get ready to run another BJ 5K. Like, no, I just did this. Somebody moved the finish line back another 10 years. Ugh, can't even see it. Do we have any married people here tonight? That was a pretty sad sound. You guys were faking it a little bit. You're like, eh. Some of you just treated it like a silent auction. You were like... Just so sad. Anybody here been married for a really long time, like over 20 years? Yeah. You guys are so cute. How long have you been married? 21. Give it up for 21. That's a long time. Yeah. So you guys get it. If you've been working the same job for over 2 decades, you start to cut some corners. Right? But if it is your first week at a new job, you are hustling. You just start. I'm sure you dudes have figured out by now that the best you ever get from us is the first. Because women, we're so competitive, we know that you're about to compare us to every other one you've ever had. So we just enter the arena that night like, I will be queen. Give me that. We pull out all our tips and tricks, hurt our knees, throw our back out. We want a trophy. We will give head to get ahead. But then you get married and you start to treat like you're assembling IKEA furniture. Just skip a few steps, and by the end you're like, next time I'm hiring somebody else to do this. A little righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, let's get the hell out of here. We gotta go to Costco. I tried to avoid the whole post-breakup identity crisis. One of my friends went through a breakup, and she got this dramatic haircut afterward as a revenge move against her ex. She's like, if he sees me, he's gonna know he missed out on this whole other me. Like a guy has ever seen a haircut and been like, never got a asymmetrical lob, Lisa. You guys never know when we change our hair, right? You're not even observant of yourselves. Before the divorce, I was cuddling with my ex and I felt like my leg had been stabbed. I looked down. His toenails looked like he cut them with his teeth. They're all jagged, like you could unlock a secret door in a haunted house. I was like, do you have a best friend with a matching jagged toenail? You put them together to make a best friend necklace? Is that what you're doing? He turned his toe into a prison shiv. And I was like, what is this? He goes, I just didn't notice. Oh, I sure did. When you shanked my Achilles tendon. I'm bleeding out. Because I feel like this stuff only gets worse with you guys with age. Like, we've all seen the really old men with thick tufts of raccoon hair growing out of their ears. I'm sure that guy's wife has been telling him to trim it for years, and he just can't hear her. I'm like, what? It's like yelling into a fan. It's coming right back in your face. I just sat next to a very old man on a plane recently, and I had my notebook out, and he leans over and goes, "It's nice to see somebody writing and not on their phone." And I was like, aw, he doesn't know I'm writing jokes about cum. And I was like, oh, suddenly Candy Crush doesn't seem so bad, huh, Wendell? And I booped him on the nose. Love that, Wendell. It does feel a little weird to start over now in my 30s, but at least I know now what I like and don't like in a relationship. For example, I don't care how hot you are, I'm still never gonna eat your ass. Not a fan of the devil's chocolate. No, thank you. And I'm fair about it. I don't ask anybody to eat mine either, okay? There's no need. Women have a lot of holes down there. It's like a mini golf course. Just skip the one that's in a lagoon. Just don't even look at it. I had a woman come to one of my shows recently who I think was from the 1800s. She was very old. And she came up to me afterward and she was like, "I was a makeup artist for 30 years. And at this point I'm thinking, oh, I think she's about to compliment my makeup. That's so nice. And then she goes, "Your face was so oily when you were on stage. It was the only thing I could look at. The lights were hitting it so bright that I had to squint to look at you." And that's when I heard my brain say, well, tonight's the night we go to jail for throat punching someone's Nana. You just hit a certain age where you walk around like, fuck it, burn it to the ground. Like, just traumatizing people. I'm like, who is this woman's poor husband? You know? We gotta save him. I just picture him getting out of the shower and she's like, "Your balls make me sick." Of course, I didn't say any of that to her. I was just like, "What powder do you recommend?" I have no backbone. I've also become self-conscious of this very specific thing. Did you girls have that dress code in middle school where you had to wear shorts that were longer than the length of your fingertips to your sides? Okay, all right? To prevent girls from wearing booty shorts. So that was the day I learned I have freakishly long arms. For my short height. I'm only 5'4". All the girls had to line up. We put our arms down. And I don't know if you can see what's happening right now. I'll show you on this side too. But I did this, and I looked down and I was like, oh no. I'm gonna have to wear men's Jinko jeans to not get expelled. Just rolling into home ec with my chain wallet and lugs, like. Let's bake these muffins, Diane. The third member of the Insane Clown Posse. I don't know much about the Insane Clown Posse, but it does make me laugh picturing those guys having to take their makeup off at the end of the night. Because they seem so tough on stage, like, I'm gonna stab this dude and bang your chick. And then 2 hours later, they're like, these Neutrogena wipes are lovely. Oh. Don't burn my eyes. So, before I started headlining, I used to open on tour for a comedian named Jim Norton. Anybody here a Jim Norton fan? Nice. Got some Jim heads in the house. So Jim's favorite thing to do is to humiliate people. And I made the mistake of telling him that I embarrass very easily for a comedian. And he just milked that every day for 3 years on tour. When we were in public, he would constantly accuse me of shoplifting. We would be checking out at a CVS pharmacy, and just deadpan in front of the cashier, he would turn to me and go, "Are you not gonna pay for all the things in your purse?" And I would just start shivering like a shelter chihuahua, like, I would just end up paying for lipstick that I've owned for 5 years. I was like, just take my money, I'm so sorry, I hate this. It was traumatizing. By far, the most embarrassing thing he would do with his bodyguard. We traveled with this 7-foot-tall guy named Kenny. Picture Frankenstein with less people skills. Just an oaf. And I don't know if you women have ever ordered anything on victoriassecret.com, but sometimes you get that free tote bag with purchase. Okay. If you have even a shred of self-respect, you immediately throw it in the garbage where it belongs. I used it as my day-to-day purse for 7 years. I have no dignity. It says Victoria's Secret in big letters on the sides, like it's very obnoxious. And I would travel with this. So when we were on tour, we'd have to get to the airport at 5 in the morning. And you guys know how you look at the airport at 5 a.m., right? Just greasy, disheveled, gross. So I'd look like that, and I'd have this bag, and everybody's just quietly shuffling about the airport. And all of a sudden, his bodyguard would shout, "Victoria's Secret model coming through!" And everybody, and I mean everybody, would stop and look at me wide-eyed and then go, "Do you know how quickly your self-esteem goes in the toilet? When you can watch 100 people decide in half a second, "No, she's not." You're like, all right. Just gonna go walk into traffic now, thanks. So I'm from Washington State originally, and they just passed this new legislation that is banning schools from continuing to use Native American mascots, which is great. And the high school I went to, our mascot was the Blackhawks. And it takes a linguistic specialist to tell the difference between somebody saying Blackhawks and black cocks. And let me tell you, it was pretty wild growing up, going to football games and watching a dozen cheerleaders shout to a stand of parents, "We love Blackhawks, yes we do, we love Blackhawks, how about you?" And then watching everybody on the other team be like, "What the fuck?" It's like the mating call of the Kardashians. So I had my bachelorette party down in Vegas, and we went to the Magic Mike live show. Has anybody here been to the Magic Mike live show? Oh, we got a few. Oh, are you still wet? Hey. Girl, it is crazy what happens at the show. They brought it back during COVID, which surprised me because if we are concerned about droplets, women are gushing fluid at this show. Medically, it's a problem, okay? It changes the humidity in the room. Women with straight hair leave with curly hair. It's like a rainforest cafe in there. That air is thick. 3 C's. But now that the show's back, you gotta go. Oh, it is the cream of the cock. Just, chef's kiss. For 2 hours, these oiled up six-packs just grind the stage, and they sing to you, they lick whipped cream off your body, and then they bring some women on stage, and then they take your top off, and then they take your pants off, and then they fuck you. No, I'm kidding. I just want to see how far you guys would go with me on that part. Did you hear how quiet it got in here? Oh. Could you feel every woman just slowly leaning further forward in her seat, like, I'm pulling out her phone, checking flights to Vegas. Like, a taxi! Were you like, was I in the bathroom when that happened? How did I miss that? I just saw something online that burned my eyes. I just found out that I'm on Wiki Feet. Does anybody here know what Wiki Feet is? A few of you nodding. A lot of dudes that are like, don't make eye contact with me right now. If you don't know what Wiki Feet is, it's a website for people with foot fetishes. So women, if you post a photo on Instagram that shows your little tootsies, the foot folks might do a copy and paste onto Wiki Feet and then zoom in on your toes and make their keyboard sticky. I know. It's like scrapbooking for men who need Jesus. It's a nice hobby. I know that sounds like I'm kink shaming. I'm really not trying to. Honestly, I am so jealous that some people can get off from that. Like, I wish I could just stare at a dude's hairy kneecap and get tingles in my basement. What a life. I would live on Wiki knees. Oh, I would get nothing done. So much harder than that. So somebody told me that there's this profile of me on Wiki Feet, and at first when I heard that, I was like, oh, does that mean I have hot feet? I'm so flattered. Then I went and looked. I saw that the foot fetish community has rated my feet only 2.3 out of 5 stars. Which they call okay feet. I was like, oh, apparently I have Applebee's feet. It's like, you'll put it in your mouth, but you won't tell anybody about it. Just kind of a 2 for Tuesday deal. And a few months before the pandemic hit, some dude slid into my DMs and just said, $2,000 for foot vid. Now, Denver, make some noise if you would send a video of your feet to a stranger for $2,000. Godless animals, all of ya. My ears, Jesus. Some of you just throw your areola up on Facebook for $1. Aunts and uncles seeing it, you don't give a shit. You're like, Venmo me my dollar, Aunt Sherry, I earned this. This is a solid nip. Well, I appreciate your honesty. I wasn't quite as sure about it as all of you were. I was like, I don't know this guy. He's gonna have a video of my feet for the rest of his life. It's too weird. I'm not doing it. But then COVID hit. And I lost all my comedy work. So 2 days later, I wrote him back. I got desperate so fast. I was like, all right, man, $2,000 for my feet. I'm ready. Let's do it. And he never responded. I got ghosted by the foot guy. Do you know how humiliating it feels to lower your morals and your values only to have a foot guy be like, nah, I'm good now. You're like, what? What happened? It's like the smelly kid coming up to you at prom and you're like, all right, fine, one dance. And he's like, I was just gonna ask you where the bathroom is. You're like, fuck you, Travis. Get out of here. Just trying to be nice. I love my mom so much. She's amazing, but she's been trying to give me career advice, and none of it's helpful, you know? She doesn't understand that there are different levels of fame in comedy. She thinks that all comics are best friends. She'll be like, why don't you call Jerry Seinfeld? And ask to do comedians in cars getting coffee. And I'm like, Mom, I can't even get a guy to jerk off to my feet. Let's lower expectations. Like, this is where my career is at. I have a foosball web series on YouTube, okay? I'm like here. When my mom heard that, she goes, you know who I bet would love to do your YouTube show? Ellen DeGeneres. And I was like, oh, you bet, huh? Well, let's put some money on it, because I bet she fucking wouldn't. If I win, you have to let me back on your cell phone plan. She's always trying to find ways to get me on television. Like when she heard I was getting divorced, she sent me a text that said, "Now that you're single, you can go on The Bachelor or Miss America." I was like, yeah, because marriage is what was holding me back from becoming Miss America. Pretty sure part of the qualifications include hasn't been paid in Jell-O shots to tell dick jokes. So, I don't think I'm getting in. I was talking about the foosball web series. So, my entire family and I are actually world champion foosball players. Thank you. I know it sounds made up. I swear it's real. My parents met playing in a professional foosball tournament in the 80s. So I literally wouldn't exist if it weren't for foosball. Which is sad. But you know, some of you wouldn't exist if it weren't for boxed wine. So it's like, yeah, whatever. We're all a little garbage. Let's not judge each other. It gets weirder. Not only is my dad a pro foosball player, he's also a slam poetry champion and an international yo-yo man. Yeah, my dad has the sex appeal of a fanny pack. Crushing it. And my mom is in the Foosball Hall of Fame, and they've been training me to play since I was like 2 years old. But since no one suspects that I'm a pro foosball player, I love to hustle people, right? And so I usually play against other comedians on my web series, but we did this special episode where I went undercover in Vegas, and I hustled drunk dudes on the Vegas Strip. So I wore this low-cut top, I talked in the worst voice, and my camera crew and I would go up to groups of guys and I'd go,
"Hi, my name's Kelsey, and I have this web series where I do things that I've never done before for the first time. It's called Pop My Cherry." It's silly, you know. So I've never played foosball before, and we just found this table, and I was just wondering if you guys want to play me.
And every group of guys is like, "Hell yeah, bitch, let's go." Yeah, play right now. So I would play the first game terribly on purpose, right? I would giggle a bunch, spin the rods a lot, really build up their confidence. And then I go,
"Okay, so I think I've got the hang of it now, and this is Vegas, so we should play for money."
and every guy would put their whole wallet on the table. And they'd hand me the ball and go, "Here, you can serve first." And that's when I pull out my foosball grip glove. Checkmate, motherfucker.